Today our topic is what the Stoics believed about happiness. The Stoics were ancient philosophers who lived thousands of years ago, but their ideas about life, happiness, and how to live well are still very useful today. They believe that happiness does not come from money, fame, or things outside of us. Instead, they thought that true happiness comes from inside us, from how we think, how we act, and how we respond to life's challenges. Stoics taught that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react to those things. This idea is very powerful because it means that no matter what happens in life, we always have the power to choose our attitude and our actions. The Stoics believed that happiness is not about having a perfect life or avoiding problems. Life will always have difficulties, and no one can escape pain, loss, or disappointment. But the Stoics said that these things do not have to make us unhappy. What makes us unhappy is not the events themselves, but how we think about them. For example, if someone insults us, we might feel angry or hurt. But the Stoics would say that the insult itself is not what hurts us. What hurts us is our own reaction to the insult. If we can learn to control our reactions, we can stay calm and peaceful even when things go wrong. This is why the Stoics spent so much time thinking about how to control their minds and emotions. They believed that by practicing self-control and focusing on what is truly important, we can find happiness no matter what happens in life. One of the key ideas of Stoicism is that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. The Stoics divided life into two categories: things that are within our control and things that are not. Things within our control include our thoughts, our attitudes, our actions, and how we respond to situations. Things outside our control include other people's opinions, the weather, the past, and the future. The Stoics said that worrying about things we cannot control is a waste of time and energy. Instead, we should focus on what we can control and do our best with that. For example, if we are preparing for a job interview, we can control how much we prepare and how we present ourselves. But we cannot control whether the interviewer likes us or whether we get the job. The Stoics would say that we should focus on preparing well and then accept whatever happens with calmness and dignity. Another important Stoic idea is that we should not rely on external things for our happiness. Many people believe that they will be happy if they have more money, a better job, or a bigger house. But the Stoics said that relying on these things for happiness is dangerous because they can always be taken away. If we tie our happiness to things that are outside our control, we will always be at the mercy of circumstances. Instead, the Stoics believed that we should find happiness within ourselves by developing virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. These virtues are things that no one can take away from us, and they are the foundation of a good and happy life. The Stoics taught that by living according to these virtues, we can find a deep and lasting sense of peace and fulfillment. The Stoics also believed in accepting life as it is and not wasting time wishing things were different. They called this attitude Amor fati, which means love of fate. This means that instead of complaining about the things we cannot change, we should accept them and even embrace them. The Stoics said that everything that happens for a reason, and that even the difficult things in life can help us grow and become stronger. For example, if we lose our job, we might feel upset and worried. But the Stoics would say that this is an opportunity to learn new skills, to think about what we really want in life, and to become more resilient. By accepting what happens and looking for the lessons in every situation, we can turn even the most difficult experiences into something positive. The Stoics also believed in the importance of living in the present moment. They said that we should not spend too much time worrying about the future or regretting the past. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only moment we truly have is the present, and we should make the most of it. The Stoics taught that by focusing on the present moment and doing our best in every situation, we can find peace and happiness. This does not mean that we should not plan for the future or learn from the past. But it does mean that we should not let our worries about the future or our regrets about the past take over our lives. Instead, we should focus on what we can do right now to live a good and meaningful life. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers was Marcus Aurelius, who was also a Roman emperor. He wrote a book called Meditations, which is full of advice about how to live a good life. In this book, he reminds himself to stay humble, to treat others with kindness, and to focus on what is truly important. He also writes about the importance of accepting death as a natural part of life. The Stoics believe that thinking about death can help us appreciate life more and remind us to live each day with purpose and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius said that we should not be afraid of death, but we should use the thought of it to motivate us to live well and make the most of our time. Another important Stoic philosopher was Epictetus, who was born a slave but later became a teacher. He taught that we should not let our desires and fears control us. Instead, we should learn to be content with what we have, and to accept whatever happens with calmness and grace. Epictetus said that we should not try to avoid difficulties, but we should see them as opportunities to practice virtue and strengthen our character. He believed that by facing challenges with courage and wisdom, we can grow and become better people. The Stoics also believed in the importance of helping others and contributing to society. They said that we are all part of a larger community, and we have a responsibility to do our part to make the world a better place. This means treating others with respect, helping those in need, and working together to create a just and peaceful society. The Stoics believed that by living a life of service and kindness, we can find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. In conclusion, the Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within. It comes from how we think, how we act, and how we respond to life's challenges. It comes from focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot control, and living according to virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. The Stoics taught that we should not rely on external things for our happiness, but we should find it within ourselves. They also believed in living in the present moment, accepting life as it is, and helping others. These ideas are not always easy to follow, but they can help us live a more peaceful, meaningful, and happy life. The Stoics remind us that no matter what happens, we always have the power to choose our attitude and our actions. And that is the key to true happiness.